If you look through your old Watchtower literature, you'll see something that has happened over and over and over again. And it's sort of like a subliminal message to us. And that is the construction. The Watchtower Society always has and always will have pictures of paradise. And then they would have a carpenter or carpenters wearing hard hats, and they are constructing a building in the paradise. And growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, I probably didn't notice these pictures as much as I would now. And of course, when you're blinded by a cult, you have no idea what is happening behind the scenes. Growing up, we always wished of this paradise earth, and we would be dreaming of our own homes. And I remember in service, some people would pick out their own homes. Oh, and I want this one, or I want that one. Oh, that's so beautiful, that's going to be mine. And we'd also talk about how there was a need for brothers who knew construction, because who was going to build the kingdom halls or our homes in this paradise on earth after Armageddon, when God destroys everything to rubble. But what I mean by subliminal messages, this is a way to condition your mind over a period of years, constantly seeing this paradise and construction and hard hats and blueprints. There is a reason that they keep showing these pictures. And one reason is so that the brothers and sisters will build kingdom halls for the Watchtower and assembly halls and headquarters around different countries. And right now the main world headquarters is being built in New York. So that's the first thing that the Watchtower Society needs, is they need these buildings, and they have a lot to do with realty, and they are in the business of buying and selling buildings and constructing these buildings, buying land. And the other part, which I've already talked about, was so that brothers will be there to construct in the new system of things. But as we see, after Samuel Hurd's announcement from the annual meeting of 2015, this fall, the Watchtower, the soldiers of the Watchtower are being laid off, basically. And there are building committees that are being laid off. They're getting the boot. And they're shutting down operations with building. And God's army, they're supposed to be continuing and increasing and building and progressing, getting stronger, not get weaker. And this has nothing to do with falling away from the faith and the church. The leaders are saying, okay, goodbye, this is it, we're putting a stop to this. And even in production of literature, they're cutting that in half. They're cutting special pioneers in advanced countries, they're cutting them down. So their plan of increasing in God's so-called military here and for God's kingdom, it's all failing. And you can start to clearly see that the Watchtower is just like a business. They are a corporation, and times are really difficult right now for them. and they are relying basically on their websites, jw.org and tv.jw.org, which is their broadcast website. And they are changing the way that they do their field service, and they just stand in front of their carts and watch people walk by and grab magazines without even a Bible on the cart. So this business model is changing, but yet it seems to be failing now. And it all has to do with money. Now, God's military shouldn't need money. They should be fighting this fight through faith. And that's the bottom line. Righteousness. They shouldn't have to depend on money and business to thrive and survive in this world. They shouldn't have to lay people off and say, okay, go home. We cannot have special pioneers in this section of the world. So it becomes clearer that this is just a corporation, and they are in the business of realty. They are still a printing company, but they are losing money fast. And this dream of this paradise on earth with building beautiful homes and kingdom halls is falling apart, and it's becoming a digital religion. So what happens when there's a glitch or something crazy and we do not have the internet? When I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, it was in the, basically 80s I was brought up, and there was no internet, and it was all construction and printing and going door to door and using our own means to get to conventions, meetings, out door to door, way out in the country. And now the Watchtower Society, they have asked for donations, and this was only a few months ago, and they've changed the way that the system works with paying back debts with Kingdom Hall renovations. And they're trying many things, and along with this thought, they've tried to make a new religion to make it interesting, to keep going, to stay being a Jehovah's Witness, to stay at the meetings, to just basically to be entertained a little bit more. And they're even allowing Kingdom Halls to have these get-togethers that make them look like they're Pentecostals. And there's so many changes now. But back to the point, in the 80s, the Jehovah's Witnesses, it seemed to me like this was God's military, and we were fighting for his kingdom. But now it's a completely different religion. Like I said, it's a digital religion, and everything is going towards online, and even they have an application for their JW library. And when you have your own websites, things should be increasing, and you should be able to make more money. And I don't know, maybe they do make money from people hitting on their sites. They're getting all these hits, thousands and thousands a day, and they're trying different avenues to make money. And they have so many things that they're investing in too, and people are finding more and more corporations and products that they're investing in. So how deep has the Watchtower gone? Like, are they in debt? If you go back to Stephen Lett and on the JW broadcast that he did a few months ago or a year ago, whatever it was, he tells the Jehovah's Witnesses what they need money for, and one of the projects they needed money for was the translation buildings. I can't recall the correct term of those, but he said one of these would need at least 1 million or more dollars, and he had something like over 100 of these buildings they needed to build, and that's just one example of how much money they need. But now they're cutting things down. They've changed the way that they have building committees too. They've scrapped the other one. They have a new one. They're gonna start building kingdom halls in the same generic pattern, and they're gonna look like stores with windows in the front. And these kingdom halls are going to be very attractive and welcoming, and they will have the literature set up exactly like they look on the carts that they have out in the streets where people stand behind and just stare into the sky. So even that's going to be changing, and they are even training Jehovah's Witnesses to maintain these new kingdom halls. And they have more work to do, more than ever. One of the things that Samuel Hurd said about cutting the watchtower in half, bi-monthly is how he put it, is he said that it will save on money, and the brothers just don't have time to keep up with God's word through the watchtower. So that's going backwards too. They can't keep up with the watchtower literature. Anyway, just observing these different changes since I left in 2005. Things have just drastically changed with this cult, and it's not what I've known. This isn't the same religion at all, and this looks like a modern, worldly version of what Jehovah's Witnesses used to be. And they used to demonize the internet when I was going. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see Jehovah's Witnesses online. What will they do next? The Watchtower Society is really going to have to work some magic to change, to turn things around so that they can afford these projects and to keep the Jehovah's Witnesses entertained at the meetings, out in service, and to keep them motivated and encouraged. They're going to have to do something amazing and work miracles, and it doesn't look good.